Orencia Weapons Shop. Thud, thud. The merchant flinched at the sudden harsh knocking. He sighed and turned his head towards the door.
We're temporarily closed today.
His voice carried fatigue and wariness. The shop was in complete disarray after the altercation between Vallentyna and Edwin. And to make matters worse, the blacksmith was injured and unable to work for the time being. But whoever was outside paid no heed and knocked again. Thud, thud, thud. The merchant gritted his teeth and shouted once more.
Good heavens, didn't you hear? The shop's damaged and we can't operate. Come back in a few days.
The outside went quiet for a moment, just as the merchant was about to breathe a sigh of relief. Bang! The door burst open, scattering debris everywhere. The impact sent the merchant flying backward onto the floor.
Ah, oh my, what in the...
The merchant let out a pained groan. He immediately lifted his head to glare at the intruder, but his face instantly turned pale. The merchant tried to hide his trembling voice, forcing a smile as he spoke.
Ah, well, to welcome Imperial soldiers as customers. What an honor. Of course. Finding you here when the shop's in such a state is rather... Oh, not at all. You're always welcome. Ha ha. If you need weapons, just say the word. Though the blacksmith is currently on holiday, so it might take a bit of time.
But inside, different thoughts were churning.
That blasted Curse of Taten necklace I bought from that troublesome woman. We made a deal that she wouldn't report it to the Imperial forces. Surely she hasn't stabbed me in the back.
Terror washed over him at the thought that one wrong answer might mean immediate execution. He bit his parched lips nervously, praying the necklace hidden beneath the wooden floor wouldn't be discovered.
No, the necklace mustn't be discovered.
Just then, a squad leader stepped forward and showed a wanted poster.
We know this woman came here. Where is she now?
The merchant's eyes wavered. The portrait was unmistakably Vallentyna. The long pink golden hair, violet eyes, and that distinctive beauty.
What?
The merchant's voice trembled. His mind was in confusion.
Not about the necklace? Why are they looking for that woman?
The merchant tried to steady his trembling voice and casually deflected.
Oh my, I'm so busy. I can't remember every customer. Ha ha ha.
The squad leader pointed his sword at the merchant's throat and pressed.
I'll ask one last time. I'd like to believe there was a misunderstanding.
Sweat rolled down as the blade grazed the merchant's neck.
Ah, yes, I remember now. A few days ago, a young swordsman came to repair his armor. He had a young lady with him, said she was his lover.
The merchant's mind grew more complicated. Every footstep seemed to echo the presence of the necklace hidden under the wooden floor.
Did she resemble the wanted person?
The squad leader's voice grew sharp.
Well, now that you mention it, she might have looked similar, but she seemed so ordinary. They were so affectionate with each other. I hardly had time to notice, just like any young couple.
The squad leader frowned, then shook his head.
An ordinary woman. That monster who instantly slaughtered Imperial soldiers in the Cursed Forest. Suddenly walking around lovingly with a boyfriend. Nonsense.
Sensing the squad leader's suspicion weakening, the merchant asked innocently.
But why would that young lady be a criminal? Oh my, she seemed like such an unworldly country girl to me. Oh heavens!
The squad leader sighed and withdrew his sword.
Another dead end.
Just then, a chill crept in as the weapon shop's door opened. A shiver ran down the spines of the squad leader and his soldiers. They knew who this visitor was.
Master Idryph.
The tall man had to stoop to enter through the weapon shop's doorway. The soldiers bowed solemnly. His raven-black long hair brushed his shoulders, and his red eyes coldly surveyed the interior. His presence alone made the air heavier, and even veteran soldiers held their breath. The merchant could hardly believe his eyes at the sight of the man he'd only heard about in rumours.
Idryph. Could it be Idryph, the mage of the north? Even he is hunting this woman? What in the...
Idryph entered with heavy steps. His gaze swept the floor and stopped at one point.
You've missed something, squad leader.
His voice was low and calm, but the authority within it made cold sweat break out on the squad leader's back.
Sir, what do you mean?
As he raised his hand, blue magical energy filled the room. The wooden floor beneath the merchant's feet trembled ominously, and the boards began to lift one by one. It was as if an invisible giant hand was tearing up the floor. Crack, 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 the hidden necklace rose into the air, drawn by the magic. Idryph's fingers caught it in midair. The squad leader gasped at the sight of the necklace in Idryph's hand.
Master Idryph, is that...
Idryph's long fingers traced the engraving on the necklace.
Vallentyna Adelaide von Kreitzen. May glory be eternal.
Then, is it truly from the Curse of Taten? So that woman... Yes, you knew all along that the woman you defended was the Curse of Taten. How dare you try to deceive the Imperial Army?
As the squad leader's face bore down on the merchant's pale face mixed with shock and disgust.
The what? The Curse of Taten?
He staggered and leaned against the wall.
That man's lover. Could it be? So that's why... That power that nearly destroyed the weapon shop.
This is your last chance.
Idryph's voice was as cold as a midwinter frost.
Whether this item costs you your life depends on your answer.
The terrified merchant tried to salvage the situation, adding exaggeration to the truth.
Ah, well, you see, I swear I knew nothing about the Curse of Taten. That woman came with the swordsman to sell it, saying they were preparing for marriage. I thought it was just an ordinary necklace. Yes, they were absolutely smitten with each other. The way they exchanged glances. Who would have suspected anything seeing them so affectionate?
Idryph's eyebrow twitched at some point as he appeared deep in thought. A cold smile spread across his lips.
Lovers, you say?
When he raised his head, the merchant unconsciously took a step back. Idryph's expression grew even colder.
Tell me everything about the lover.
Ah, they were so passionate. The way they stuck together so sweetly. The swordsman with his arm around her waist, and she nestled right into his embrace. They said they found that necklace after spending a heated night together. My goodness, it was almost embarrassing to hear. They seemed like they'd had their wedding night 10 times over already. Oh.
Suddenly, Idryph's red eyes blazed, and the room temperature plummeted. It was as if midwinter night air had instantly poured into the room. Frost bloomed on the windows and walls, and the candles flickered and died. The magic in the air rippled with blue light as if becoming solid. White breath rose with every exhale, and frost began forming on the soldiers' armor. Even veteran soldiers instinctively stepped back. The merchant's legs trembled. He sensed that no more lies would work.
I'm not asking about such useless things. Tell me where Vallentyna went.
The merchant quickly fell to his knees and prostrated himself.
Please spare me. This is all I know. I believed what he said, that she was just his lover. What citizen would recognize the Curse of Taten as some ordinary woman? I just innocently believed what I was told.
Idryph looked down at the merchant as if regarding an insect on the floor. Then he slowly turned to face the soldiers. His authority filled the room.
Squad leaders, attention.
The soldiers looked at him with tense expressions.
First squad will monitor this weapons shop. High possibility the target will revisit. But be careful not to be detected. Report immediately if you notice any suspicious movement. Second squad will search the western district of Morencia. Focus especially on inns and taverns frequented by swordsmen. Third squad will take the eastern district. Change into civilian clothes to avoid arousing citizen suspicion.
Idryph's orders were precise and clear, and each squad leader bowed in acknowledgement. His command was perfect, as if prepared over a long time.
Master Idryph, what shall we do with this man?
Process him according to Imperial law.
With his indifferent words, the merchant's fate was sealed. While the soldiers confiscated the necklace and arrested the merchant, Idryph was already calculating his next move. His red eyes glowed coldly like moonlight in the night sky. As the merchant's desperate cries cut through the air under his command, the Imperial Army's pursuit net began to slowly tighten around Morentia.
Hasty Cake Club, where every bite is a taste of sweet adventure. Ready for a more adventurous flavour in your life? Subscribe and taste the magic.